Well, good morning, Spirit and Truth Sanctuary. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you are waking up in joy and in love and in peace. And if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you're waking up in a little bit less peace, but just remember that your peace is not at the mercy of external conditions. And if you're a Kansas City fan, you're probably waking up with a little extra praise this morning. But it's good to see everybody. This is the day the Lord has made. We came to rejoice and be glad in it. Hopefully you've had some water today. You've stretched your body out. You've given thanks. Did you get up this morning when you went to the bathroom and give God thanks for the PP prayer? Did you say the PP prayer and say, God, thank you that my bladder is working, that my kidneys are working, that my body is functioning the right way? I said the PP prayer several times during the night last night. At 3 o'clock, at 4:30. All right, good to see you this morning. Are you alive? Are you awake? Are you aware this morning? This is February 13th, and the month is we are focusing on redefining our spiritual practice. Today's teaching, today's devotion is called Staying in Your Center. Before we get started, we're going to have a little bit of joy this morning. I really like this song. I remember how it came on and how it made me feel as a kid. And I hope it's something that you enjoy. Jump in there. Let us know what this song is this morning.
Well, we're moving on to the side, to a deluxe apartment in sky. We're moving on to the side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. It took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, we're moving on to the side.
All right. Who ever did not get that? You were not alive in the late 70s and 80s, possibly. I love it that LaDonna put in the chat, George and Wheezy.
George walked like this.
Wheezy. You know, LaDonna's middle name is Louise.
Yes.
So, LaDonna, we could call you Wheezy if that would make you feel.
But then you'd be dead.
Then you'd be dead if you called me Wheezy. All right, let us know, Brandy.
Let's see, Dr. Sharonda, and let's see, Bobby, looks like, I believe that's Miss Bobby, Mary, Richard. Let's see here, over on YouTube, Jen Stevenson, Myrna King, Pastor Gloria, and more. There's more people, of course, that guessed it right. I just grabbed the first few names.
All right, that was Moving On Up. The theme song from the hit television show, The Jeffersons. Some of you remember that fondly. I loved The Jeffersons show, and I liked later finding out that Miss Roxy Roker, who was the Jeffersons' neighbor, she was married to the white guy. She is the mother of one of my favorite, possibly my favorite musical artist of all time, and that's Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz. And interesting that Lenny Kravitz came from the Jeffersons, and I still love Lenny Kravitz. All right, let's jump in and read our prayer of surrender this morning. If you don't have it memorized, no big deal. Turn to about page 4, and we will read it together. Spirit of truth, carry me where you will. Bring to me what you will. Take from me what you will. Awaken in me what you will. The Christ man is around me. The Christ mind is in me. The Christ power flows through me, and the Christ mystery exists as me. I believe it, I perceive it, and now I receive it. I am surrendered. Amen. And so it is. Take it away, Wheezy.
Okay, that's your only time to do that. Okay, our affirmation this morning. Today, I will stay in tune with my fellow man by staying in tune with the Christ in me.
Beautiful. So the theme of today, or the gist of the teaching, is a beautiful example of how an orchestra tunes itself. And so if you've seen an orchestra play, you've got, I mean, it could involve brass, string instruments, even percussion at times. And they would never tune their instrument to the one next to them. You wouldn't have a violin go, hey, let me just tune next to you, then the one next to them. Well, let me tune it next to you. It's kind of like what we talked about yesterday, the Gospels being passed down through oral tradition. You know, every instrument's got their take on it. And so they all tune to one instrument, and that is the piano. That makes my mother very happy. There's no way to say how happy that makes my mother, because she says, that's right. The piano is the center of the orchestra.
The universe.
Of the universe. The piano is the center of the universe. But they tune to one specific instrument, and that's the piano, so that they're all, even if the piano is a little out of tune, they're all a little out of tune together. They're all in the same space. And so the encouragement this morning is not to tune your instrument to the person next to you. Okay, I can't spend my life trying to make the person next to me happy, get in step with them, a person at work, a family member, a child, a pastor, whoever that person might be. You have to tune your instrument to the Christ mind. There it is. You have to tune your instrument to the Christ conscious mind. And when you do that, you're able to stay in your center and not get taken around, blown about by every opinion, every perspective, every person's take on something. And so that way you're not trying to please people. You're not trying to please a religion. You're trying to stay in your center of what that Christ conscious mind is speaking to you. And if we get quiet enough, we certainly can listen. Look down, if you will, at I think it's the third paragraph, and it's the second line. It says, the Christ consciousness inside you is that one steady note. In the Bible, Paul says, if there be anything good, we should think on these things. The more you focus, the more focus you place on your own Christ nature. There it is. And that's a good report that you have. All of us have a Christ nature. The more good there is inside you. And whatever you have, the most of inside is what will come spilling out when someone or some situation threatens to throw you off balance. So when you get into a dire situation, a crisis, an emergency, usually what's inside of you begins to come out. Okay, because it's a reaction, it's a response. You don't sometimes have time to think about it. So if you're putting good things in or tuning your instrument to the good things that are inside of you, then in that moment, just the natural part of who you are is coming up. One of my mentors, he was actually my basketball coach in high school. He would say, I love when practices get stinky. I love when practices get bloody and sweaty and a game gets to be really tight, because the stress level goes up. The level of hurriedness, everybody gets in a hurried, and so you can't rely on this whole methodological approach when you get into a crisis. Just whatever you have been practicing comes out, both physically and mentally. And so he said, I love to see where we are when we get into a crisis, because I see what you've been feeding on. The best of you and the worst of you sometimes will come out in those moments. And so if we've tuned our instrument, tuned our consciousness to the Christ mind, we don't have to think a lot when we get into a situation. What's in us just naturally begins to come out. Look at this. Listen to this. Constantly tuning yourself to your Christ nature keeps you in your center, and in turn, in tune with your fellow man as well. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, when we tune ourselves to things like love, peace, joy, concern for our neighbor, we are always in tune with the universe, because that is the mind of Christ. Amen, somebody? All right, LaDonna.
Amen. Our prayer today, Christ consciousness, help me recognize, connect with, and focus on the Christ nature that is within me today and every day. Amen.
Amen. So I wrote this day of devotion. I'm so proud of it. It's a really, I think, one of the best days we've had so far. Don't you agree? Aren't I? No, that's LaDonna. LaDonna wrote this day of devotion. And so she is brilliant.
Easy wrote it.
Wheezy. I thought I couldn't say it anymore.
But I can.
She can say it. Sorry, I can't say wheezy, but she can say wheezy. All right, wonderful teaching today. You know what our encouragement is today? Stay in your center. Tune your instrument to joy, to peace, to love. Tune your instrument to the Christ conscious mind, and let everything else around you come in line with that one instrument that is your inner self, your inner soul, that Christ conscious mind that is within all of us. You know, Paul said to the Areopagus, to the philosophers right outside of Rome, he said, Christ is all and is in all. In it, we live, move, and have our being. And so in essence, Paul was not preaching Christ to the philosophers. He was preaching to the Christ that was already in the philosophers. And so that Christ is already within everybody that you meet, that Christ spirit. Why? Because we all came from the same source, the same energy, the same vibration. When you tune your instrument to the Christ mind, others will hear it and they'll begin to resonate with it, and they will tune their instrument to that Christ mind as well. You'll wake up, you'll preach to the Christ in those that are around you. Amen to that, somebody. All right, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Pastor LaDonna will lead our devotion at 11 a.m. At Connection. Wednesday night, we'll have devotion together as we begin Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth once again. Thursday's On Your Own, and then we'll see you again on fun, fantastic Friday. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. My daughter reminded me last night, if women don't have a man, if that's your sexual orientation, you call it Galentine's Day. You spend the week or the night with your girlfriends. Happy Galentine's Day. I thought that was funny. Either way, a little joy for you this morning. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Stay in a high vibration. Go in peace. May God bless you.